When people have financial problems and they're like, I've got to make more money, I got to get on top of my money, they don't Google looking for a financial manifestation queen, right? They Google financial help, how to learn about money. You have to use the clear, simple terms that people use in search in your title and in the answer to what you do. Otherwise, when you're being cute, when you're trying to stand out so much, it's too niche and nobody finds you.
Welcome, everybody, to the Chris Harder Show, where we are making you unapologetic about your pursuit of success, knowing that when good people like you make good money, they can then do great things. My name is Chris Harder, and several times per week, I will bring you epic guests, solo episodes, and every single tool, trick, and skill set you need to grow your business, grow your money mindset, and to grow your wealth to levels that you have never reached before. I've ended up in a unique place in life where I've got the experience, the connections, and all of the secrets that it takes to be successful. And I'm lifting the curtain to reveal it all to you in an effort to help put you in a position of abundance so great that you can then be as generous as possible. So let's lock arms and let's get started.
And we're back.
With another episode of He Said, She Said.
Babe, I'm going to make you tell them about the new Glōci flavors. God dang, they're good.
They are out of control.
What am I holding right now?
Watermelon.
Yes. How does my face look like right now?
Like a happy plan.
It's so effing good.
You guys, they're actually legitimately insane. We are so addicted. I mean, it makes you drink so much water, but I'm going to be sharing so much information about just all of these ingredients in here and what they do, you guys. There is so much in here that is insane for your skin, especially if you are anybody who has been thinking about getting any kind of Sculptra or a biostimulator, or if you get Botox. You guys, it's crazy how much longer it can make these things last and how much better your results are going to be. Not to mention just your digestion and waking up without the bloat and how much you're going to hydrate. It's pretty insane. So stay tuned for more of that info. I'm going to be sharing a lot more on social media because this formulation is amazing.
We're going to get to new flavors. There's strawberry, brand new lemon.
Yeah, strawberry hibiscus, an upgraded lemon, and a watermelon.
And they all have more electrolytes now.
Yes, more electrolytes. We have potassium, a pinch more sea salt, and cassava fiber, which is a prebiotic.
It's so good. Go to getglōci.com. Seriously, they're selling pretty quick. So you might want to get them before they sell out. They got to place another order. Getglōci.com. That's Glōci, Gloci, getglōci.com. All right, so I thought we'd do something really fun today. We're always trying to bring you as much value as possible. And we've got two masterminds. We have one called the MCM, which is for businesses earning up to $500,000 a year. And then we have our Elite Entrepreneur Mastermind, which is for businesses over $500,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Most are 7 and 8 figure businesses. And in both of them, we answer questions for the members. But in MCM, we answer questions every 2 weeks for like a couple hours. And it's awesome. Like, it's my favorite thing to do. It's so much fun. And so I thought, because the members in there ask such good questions, and then we give such like good actionable answers, like, let's bring some of these to everyone who listens, whether you're a member or not, because I want you guys to be able to learn from some of these really good questions that the members are asking as well. So we're going to repeat some of the questions that they asked in this past week's Q&A, live Q&A session, and then kind of share the answers that we gave so you guys can learn as we go along.
Love it.
So this first one was from somebody named Michelle. And she said, I'm in a rebrand phase right now. And a lot of my work currently is behind the scenes. I'm focused on refining my offers and redoing my positioning, but I'm struggling with the feeling that I'm not taking enough outward visible action. How do I know if I'm using this season well versus hiding myself in preparation mode? Being between launches feels stagnant in comparison to when I'm in a launch or pre-launch. So I want to make sure I'm using my time wisely. And Lori, I'll let you chime in too, but my answer to her was this. There's a difference between feelings and facts. Feelings are what you're saying in the question. I'm feeling like I'm not taking enough outward visible action. I'm feeling like I should be doing more. I'm feeling, even though I'm doing the right thing right now, right? You're in a rebrand phase where a lot of the work is behind the scenes, refining your offers and positions. You're feeling like you should be doing something that other people can see you doing. And I said, you can't run a business on feelings. You have to run on facts. And so I asked her, I said, when you look at the facts Are you on target for your revenue goals? And she said, yeah. Are you making enough money for what you need right now? She said, yeah. Are your sales something that you're proud of while you're doing the rebranding and repositioning and all that stuff? She said, yeah. I said, those are facts. When you say, here's my goal, here's the percentage to goal that I am right now, I'm on pace or ahead of schedule. That's a fact, not a feeling. And so I said, you've got to lean into the facts, and that'll eliminate the feelings of not doing enough. But the problem is, all of us as business owners, because we're human, we just go off of feelings. We feel like we should be seen working hard. Oh, I even gave the example to her. I said, when I work really hard during the day, I work harder and faster than anybody else I know. Like I can just do more in a container of time than anyone else I know. But then I'm so fried at the end. And I said, my wife, Lori, she works differently. She spreads it out more like a marathon. And that means at night she's got some work to do, or on a Saturday she's got some work to do or something like that. And many times I got my work done.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel guilty, like I should be working in front of you. I feel like you might be thinking, gosh, I'm over here working hard. Why isn't Chris working right now? But those are just feelings, because the facts are my work is done. The facts are we're on pace. The facts are I already did what I said I needed to do for the week. And so I have to remind myself, just like I reminded Michelle, go off of facts, not go off of feelings.
Yeah, sometimes we can feel like maybe we aren't relevant because we're not doing all of the things that people can see. And you have to remember that if your numbers and your goals are reflecting what you want, sometimes having a little bit of that downtime is actually good. Or sometimes really focusing on what you need to be focusing on the business is good. And if that means that you're not as visibly present sometimes as maybe you were during launch or building phase, that's okay.
All right. So the second question that we got this week, and we got 20 plus questions, but the second one I wanted to share with you guys, because I thought this is really important for everybody when it comes to communicating what you do, was from somebody named Tara. And it was a really good question. She said, I'd love some guidance around refining the language I use when I describe what I do. Now, let me just pause right here. All of you need a one sentence answer to what you do. When somebody stops you at a networking event, when somebody stops you and introduces you to somebody, when you just are at a coffee shop and get into a conversation, you need one impactful sentence saying exactly what you do. You have to have this practiced so that rolls off your tongue. So that's kind of like a side answer to this question. But the spirit of the question was this. She wanted some guidance around refining the language that she uses to describe what she does. She said, while I technically am a breathwork coach, breathwork is the primary tool that I use within a broader framework in transformation leadership coaching. So her question was, how important is it, in our experience, to have precise verbiage or a clearly defined title that encapsulates what you do, and what should it be in her case? And I already kind of answered the first part. You have to have your one clear, high impact sentence on the tip of your tongue, answering what you do in any situation. But then furthermore, it has to be clear, not cute.
Mm-hmm.
And you've probably heard us talk about this before. And this was our answer to Tara. Be clear, not cute. She tried to position herself as a breathwork coach in order to achieve transformation and leadership coaching. And I said to her, nobody Googles, oh, I'm looking for a breathwork coach, unless they're specifically looking for breathwork in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're really saying you are is a transformation leadership coach. And so if you want to reach people that are looking for transformation and leadership, transformation leadership coaching, then that's your answer. You're not some breathwork this or breathwork that. That's just the tool that you use as a transformation and leadership coach. And so your answer, remember, clear, not cute, is always the one that most people would use in plain language when they were Googling or asking ChatGPT, hey, who's the best transformation leadership coach out there? And if all your branding is around breathwork this and breathwork that, no, that's your modality. That's what sets you apart. That's what makes you different from all the other transformation leadership coaches. But they're not Googling that when they want transformation leadership coaching. They're Googling leadership coaching. They're Googling transformation coaching. And so you need to be clear that you are a transformation leadership coach, not a breathwork coach in that situation.
Yeah, we see so many people in their bios, or so many people who are using their copy like over and over, like, I help women embody their highest self. Like, unless someone is waking up in the morning saying, you know what, I really need to embody my highest self.
Yeah.
Like they're never waking up and saying that. They're like, I'm stressed out. I need to be a better leader. I need to scale my business to the next level. I need to get more customers in my business. I need more eyeballs. I need to learn how to acquire more customers. There's so many specific things that people like. If you say it in your title, they need to say, oh, that's me. It's about being able to explain their pain points better than they can. And that's how you get even more clear.
Actually, guys, hold on a sec. I'm going to interrupt this podcast for something really, really important. And if you've been a long-time listener, you know I have never, ever interrupted my podcast to share something before. But the reason why I believe it's so important is I just had my annual tax and wealth planning meeting. And I've been given access, just like every year, to so many incredible tax saving hacks, so many privileged moves that I can make with my family office, that it's kind of unfair that everybody else doesn't get these. Now, if you're familiar with the family office, you have to have a certain level of wealth to be able to work with one. And most people listening probably can't just go and work with my family office. And so the reason why I haven't brought this up before is I haven't actually had a solution for you until now. A solution, quite frankly, that is so important, I'm interrupting this podcast for it. Now, dear friends of mine started a company a while back called True Wealth. And not only do I trust them dearly, I have watched what they have done with my friends and my clients to be able to coordinate their tax situation, their business compliance situation, their insurance situation, and their personal wealth management. Because these are not separate things. This is the number one mistake I see entrepreneurs make. They go out and they piece together these separate people for their business compliance and for their tax situation and for their personal wealth building, and they don't work together. Except that's the problem. Each one of these things actually depend on each other to maximize the savings. And I don't mean by a little bit, I mean by a ton. Because I trust True Wealth so much, I am sharing this with you right now, not as an ad, because I am not getting paid for this, but because I believe it's that important for you to explore. If you have a multiple six-figure business, preferably they're a good fit for those with a seven-figure business or close to it or higher, then I want you to hit pause real quick and set up a free call with my friends. Set up the call at chrisharder.me/wealth. That is chrisharder.me.me/wealth. I'm telling you, you can't afford to piece these things together anymore. You are wasting so much money. And if you're sick and tired of feeling like you're working too hard to have too little money left, these are the people that'll fix it, because there's a lot of money out there that you don't realize that could be left over that you don't have access to. So just set up the free call. They're my friends. I've literally never interrupted a podcast for something like this before, so you know it's important. Go to chrisharder.me/wealth, and then let me know how it goes. I'll let them know that you're calling. All right, back to the episode. When people, here's another example, have financial problems and they're like, I've got to make more money. I got to get on top of my money. They don't Google, I'm looking for a financial manifestation queen, right? They Google financial help. They Google how to manage my finances. They Google how to learn about money. You have to use the clear, simple terms that people use in search in your title and in the answer to what you do. Otherwise, when you're being cute, when you're trying to stand out so much, it's too niche and nobody finds you.
It's like I help people get to 10K months faster. And then you can say through what modalities. You could say through breath work, through manifestation, through scaling your business, or through better leadership, whatever that looks like. So that's very clear. Like people are like, that is where I want to go. I want to have consistent 10K months. And it doesn't, the different modalities in which you get them there doesn't really matter, but you've spoken clearly to the customer.
So one of the other questions that came up when we were doing our Q&A session in Mastermind was from someone named Sabrina. And she said, I did my first weekly live webinar last week. And one of the big objections that came up was the cost. For context, her offer is $497. And she said she had a few people say that they couldn't afford it for some very valid reasons. Government shutdown, living paycheck to paycheck, etc. But for others, she was wondering if she's not really addressing the block well enough in order to make them find the money for it. And, she went on to say, hey, do you have any recommendations on ways that I can address the I can't afford it objection? The way that you address the I can't afford it objection is always before they ever come up with the objection. I'm going to put it in very plain and simple terms. The $497 is not the problem. The problem is that you didn't make them see overwhelming, impossible to ignore, impossible to pass up value. Give you an example. If I said, hey, for $497, I've got this suitcase, and in this suitcase is $1 million in $100 bills. Would you like to buy this suitcase with $1 million in $100 bills from me for $497? There's not a person on the planet that would turn down that deal. Even people that quote unquote couldn't afford it. Even people that quote unquote didn't have $497 right now.
Find it.
They would go donate blood and sell the things in their house. They would do whatever it took to get $497 to buy that suitcase with $1 million. There's not a single person on the planet that would skip that deal.
Because what is in it solves their problems, or they think that it does. So the whole point that he is saying is, have you clearly and specifically told them how your offer is going to clearly solve their problems?
Yep. Here's what a lot of people are doing. I use the same example. They're saying, hey, I've got this suitcase that's $497. It's a really good value. Matter of fact, this suitcase used to be $997. And a lot of people like the suitcase, and there's some really good stuff in there, like some of the best stuff ever in the suitcase. And because it's half off at $497, how come you're not buying the suitcase? Well, because you didn't stack any value, because you didn't tell me specifically what's in it and why I need it. You didn't make it so irresistible to me that I needed that thing that is inside the suitcase, even though it's quote unquote 50% off. Nobody buys something just because you tell them it's an overwhelming bargain compared to what it used to be. They buy it because it's an overwhelming hell yes, they can't afford not to, even if they don't have the money right now. I want you to think about all the crazy things that you buy or people that people buy when they don't have the money for it. It's because somebody conveyed that they couldn't live without it.
What's missing a lot for people is testimonials as well. So if you open the suitcase and also heard about how a bunch of people who have gone through your courses have gotten results, what exactly those results look like, what their stories were, so that they can totally resonate with that person. That's a really big thing too, is a lot of people leave out testimonials of other people who have gone through those programs so that they can actually see what type of people, what problems they've had, and what they've solved and what results they've gotten.
Yeah. So we're going to keep sharing these. Guys, let us know if you like these when we share some of the questions that our clients ask and what some of the answers are that we're given, so that you can go ahead and learn from free. And if you want your questions answered, if you want our guidance on your business specifically, I want you to go check either this one out or the Elite Level Mastermind. There's two different places that you can go. You can go to chrisharder.me/mastermind. That's if your business is earning over $500,000 a year. And you can go to chrisharder.me/mentor if you want to get on the wait list for MCM for businesses that are under $500,000 a year. But either one of them, chrisharder.me/mastermind or chrisharder.me/mentor, we want to be able to work with you going into the new year and put you in the right position to have the best year of your life.
Yeah, we absolutely love also having the two different categories. It's so much fun for the 500K and below people to start busting their ceilings, to start seeing them making six figures if they're not there yet, making multiple six figures. And we also are so obsessed with the fact that the goal of the 500K and under group is to get in the elite mastermind so that we can get people up above that 7-figure mark, which is always so exciting. And there's just a different level of problems and questions in the elite entrepreneur mastermind. And so if your business is 500K and above, or you are tapping at that 7 figures, or you can't seem to get through, or you're there and you want to start really getting to your next level, that group of people, those questions, the people that we bring in, Chris and I in there, we have so much experience, you guys. Chris and I together, we both have 15 years experience, well, more now, of being entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And whether it's, you want to write a book. I've written a best-selling book before, and I am so close friends with a ton of New York Times best-selling authors. If you want to have a
mega
podcast, I have a top 25 entrepreneurial podcast that I make multiple six figures from every year. If you want to start a products business, if you want or to scale your brick and mortar, we've had brick and mortars and we have a ton of brick and mortar people in there. If you are starting a tech company, Chris has a tech company right now. We have so much experience and so many people in our network that we really have so many diverse businesses in there, and you really benefit from the diversity of businesses in there. So it's not just a bunch of coaches, or it's not just a bunch of brick and mortars. It's very unique and different perspectives that are going to help you get to that next level.
Yeah, go check it out. chrisharder.me/mastermind. That's chrisharder.me.me/mastermind. And if you guys have a question on which one's for you, just DM us. We'd love to hear about your business. All right.
See you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. And if you loved this episode and know of someone else who is as successful as they are generous, please pass them on to me. It would mean the world to me if you help me get this cause and this message out to as many listeners as I can. So please, if you liked what you heard, it goes a long way if you take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review and share this with your friends. I'll be forever grateful. And until the next episode, cheers to your success.